Welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year, and yeah, a very special edition of Walkabout with Stu. We haven't done this for a while, and as you can see, well, I'm not at home at the moment. We are on the beautiful island of Bali, and we're going to do a very special edition of Walkabout with Stu. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's do it. So guys, we came to Bali basically because we just needed to get away for a little bit of time, relax, de-stress, and re-energize our batteries. And you'll notice I'm not walking around today in the vlog because it is really hot. I'll talk about the temperatures you can expect, but if you don't know where Bali is located at the south part of Asia. It's part of Indonesia. It's right between the Timor Sea and the Indian Ocean, and it is an absolute paradise down here. For me, because I live in Sydney, we're around about 6.5 hours flight from the east coast of Australia. If you live in Perth or on that west coast, it's about an hour and a half, so it is pretty close to the mainland of Australia, and it is a very popular destination for everybody in Australia to come to, because one of the main things is it's very affordable. And I'll be giving you some B footage as we go through, but I would suspect that depending on what your budget is, you'll find some kind of holiday here in Bali that will suit your budget. There's so many hotels, there's so many different levels of hotels, and yeah, we stayed in one that's probably in that mid-tier. It's said it's around a 4-star hotel. It's in about that mid-tier, and is very reasonably priced. So temperature wise at this point in time, it's been a consistent 30 to 32 degrees during the day. This is December, January weather, probably the hottest it gets. I've put the relevant Fahrenheit calculation on up in the corner somewhere for all my North American viewers, so that you can figure out what it is. The humidity though is very high. It's around 35 to 40%. Future Stu here. Sorry, the humidity correction was not 40%. It was more like 70 to 85% humidity when we were here, and yeah, I was just looking at the wrong part of my weather app. So just the correction, let's get back to the video. So it's every day is boiling. Nighttime temperatures are around 27 degrees, so it doesn't shift. The temperature doesn't shift from night to day very much. So be prepared. If you want to come out here, it is going to be hot. If you don't like the heat too much, it does around June, July, August, somewhere around there, gets around the mid or early 20s degrees C, and that might be a little bit more pleasant for you. But it is a fantastic place to come. The energy levels here, you just feel yourself just relaxing. The people are incredibly friendly, and they rely heavily on tourists for their the revenue on the island. Incredibly friendly, but it isn't manufactured friendly, it is genuine friendly, and it has a lot to do with the culture and the philosophy and the religion. Mrs. G4 is over there somewhere on the beach relaxing, and so I snuck away, and I'll show you behind me. I'll be cutting in and out of footage what is behind me right now. But I just love it. I love it. This is the second time we've been here, and it was a little bit of a different holiday for us this time because we'd seen a lot of the main attractions. So this time we didn't really need to run around. But if you do want to do tours here, we've been using TRIPADVISor. You can use TRIPADVISor or something that's similar. We've used TRIPADVISor for finding what we wanted to do and finding tours that suited what we want to do, and we've been really happy with it. It's like I said, there is just so much to do on the island, and the accommodation will suit your budget, and so will the tours. You just need to do a little bit of searching on what you want to do and where you want to go, and and it's a really beautiful experience. We went up to Abud, we went to the water temple, we went to the monkey forest, and you know, again, I'll be cutting in that footage as I'm speaking to you, but we just had a huge day. Be prepared though, if you're going to come and you're going to do a tour, a full day tour for Balinese is around 10 hours, so it's pretty brutal, and we got through a lot in a 10-hour day, let me tell you. So we went, but it didn't feel rushed. It felt very relaxed, people, and being positive, and I love all that. I love that kind of thinking, that if you're positive and you're nice to people, then you'll get paid back in kind, and you know, it's the karma system from Buddhism, if you want some comparison. And the people are just very mellow, very relaxed, very chilled. And but you will see them. There are temples all over the island. In fact, every house has a temple, and they go and pray at least once a day. We did a tour, and we had a private driver. So that, again, if you want to do a tour on a bus with other people, you can. But if you want a private driver, you can do that. It was just me and Mrs. G4, and we could vary that tour a little bit. We actually added some markets in, because Mrs. G4 likes to bargain and likes shopping, so we went to the markets as well as everything else in the listing up. Again, I will put that up on the screen to show you what was involved in that tour.
One of the things I've always loved about travelling is arriving in a new city or a new country, and just exploring and finding your way around. It's half the battle. You know, you've got, if you're in another country, learning the culture, learning the language, learning the money. It's all half the fun of travelling, and for me, I personally love it, but for other people, they might find it a little bit intimidating. And luckily, technology is a huge value add for your travelling, and I'm going to talk about some of the technology that I used on this trip and how I used it, because I think it will really be a huge benefit if you are planning a trip. If you are in another country, I highly recommend you grab a currency app. For us, it was a huge benefit because the Indonesian money, which is where Bali is, has so many zeros on it. Figuring it out when you first look at it is a little bit intimidating. Once we were able to use it and actually help with the help of the currency app, it was pretty straightforward. You can add any currency you like to this app, and yeah, huge benefits. So I'd highly recommend picking that up if you are overseas. Now, just an app that will give you everything is my second recommendation. There's a ton of them. I'm going to talk about the one we used and how we used it, but there are a ton, so choose the one that suits you, and you can't go wrong. I haven't used TripAdvisor much in the past, I must admit. I've used it a little bit just to kind of check locations and hotels and maybe flight prices and stuff like that. Really hadn't used it much, and I'm going to say up front, I'm not affiliated with TripAdvisor, and I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. If it's TripAdvisor, if you're listening and you want to sponsor me to go overseas and do vlogs for you, I'd be more than happy to. But I'm sure there are different apps that you can use, and if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. But TripAdvisor is the most obvious one for me, and it really was a huge amount of value for me. So you can see here, you just type in where you want to go, your location, and it throws up all this. Now, these are all the kind of popular cities around where we were. Abud's probably an hour and a half from where we were, but these are all very close, so you can click in and look at each city, or you can go through popular things to do like day trips, bus tours, etc. So it is a huge resource for you, and the thing I like about it is just the way that they've got this set up. So you can see you've got all kinds of stuff that you can do. There's all kinds of experiences for different people and your different wants. I've been to Bali before, so I've done a lot of this stuff before. So, you know, if you want to snorkel with manta rays, you can. If you want to jet ski, you can. Go to the waterfall.
If you want to go and see sunrise on one of the mountains, you can. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. All very, very exciting. So this is the Dev Dan show. If you're in Bali, if you decide to come to Bali, I highly, highly recommend going and watching this show. It tells the history of Indonesia from Sumatra right through Java into Bali and across to Papua. It tells a whole lot of stuff. It is a very, very nice experience, that's by the by, but again, here is what you will get. So it'll tell you, you can check the availability by just clicking in here and looking when the next show is, and it outlines all the shows, so you can check your availability. So for instance, if I check that one there, it'll then come up with all the different options. See all 4 tour options like this. Again, we'll have to click into that. And you can pick the experience you want. You can go from category C, which is getting to the show on your own volition, so not including hotel pickup, category B, which is hotel pickup, right through to VIP. So you can actually choose, depending on what your budget is, your experience, if it's for you. You can actually rock up at this theatre and just buy the tickets if you want. It will tell you what it will tell you as well, so it'll give you a little description. It will tell you kind of what the age is, the duration, etc. But the big thing about I love about TripAdvisor, at least for this trip, was what's included. And it'll tell you what's included, and then it'll tell you what's not included, and that's a key one. And I'll show you another tour that we did where this list was quite substantial, and then what to expect, and it gives a little bit of a description there. Here's another trip that we did up to Ubud, and you can see when you read that straight up, you go Monkey Forest, Jungle Swing, Rice Terrace, Water Temple and Waterfall. You would think it's all included, so you just got to be a little bit careful with this, because there are different prices, and the different prices reflect what you get and what you don't get in it. So it's always good to just, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's important, but it's good to just look at what's included and what's not, because straight away you can see, even though we're going to all these different locations, we actually have to pay the entry fee separately. If you pick the more expensive tour for 2 adults, then all of this is included. So just be a little bit careful. But again, this is the tour that Sooty does. It was just as cost effective for us to pay the individual entry fees, and it wasn't that bad actually. You can check availability if you need to. Just click into that and see if the driver is available. You can see it's a private transport. It was only me and Mrs. G4 in an air-conditioned car with water and everything. You can of course go on buses and everything, but TripAdvisor or something similar, I highly recommend that you try and use that as you're travelling. And the very last thing I forgot to bring up in my advert for TripAdvisor or a similar, I think Booking.com do the similar thing, but the last thing that I would say is the beauty of TripAdvisor is you don't need local money. You can actually just book online, and you can use your credit card, so you don't have to have local money to do this. And what they do is they basically send you a text with an e-ticket, and you use that e-ticket, and it's so they made it so simple to use it. It's not funny, and when you're in a new environment and you're trying to figure out how the money works and all that kind of stuff, the last thing you want is something that stresses you out. So this was like I said, this is very easy for us to figure out, use, and it didn't eat into the local money that we needed when we're walking around and traveling around. So there you go, that's what I was using while I was on holiday. Hopefully that's useful for you if you are going to go traveling, and showing you how you can get around quickly, find things quickly, kind of get familiar with the currency and the layout of the land, and find the trips that kind of suit you and the things you want to do and the things you want to see. And yeah, it can all be done very cost effectively within your budget, which was the key. So let's get back into some more waffling about my trip, and then we'll finish up. And then we went into the main kind of little town that's called Kuta. And again, if you want that more backpacky kind of really intense small street experience, Kuta is a place. Seminyak is another one of those that is popular. But we went into Kuta yesterday. Again, we just hired a driver for a half day, and half day being 5 hours. didn't cost that much. It's probably around 20 to 30 bucks US. Yeah, he just took us from place to place to place. And the beauty of doing that, rather than getting a taxi or going on a tour, he had local knowledge, and he gave us, he took us to some places that you wouldn't ordinarily see. And there's tons of those drivers that you can hire if you want to, and they'll take you all over the island. Now, the other thing that you must be aware of is make sure that you are bargaining for everything, bargaining for things that you buy, bargaining for your trips, bargaining the price of a hire driver. Everything is negotiable. So there are some places that we've gone to that aren't negotiable, but the large majority of places are negotiable. So just be aware of that. It's a lot of fun. My wife is very, very good at it, and she has got some real bargains. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to show you some footage, and yeah, we'll leave it with the memory loss I got on New Year's Eve. Thanks for watching guys, catch you later, see ya.
Oke, table 11, Bang Obin berapa?
Country, raise your hand, take me home, all of you.
Would you try to feel that wine?
22. Okay, how much your
Right, table 22.
$60.
$60.
All right.